Good morning, everybody. Myself, Prashanti Rao, research scholar SPA Bhopal, selected in CASA 2012 as a virtual presenter. I am presenting under the category of social sustainability as a measurement of sustainability in terms of human population and their respective environments across time and space. My presentation focuses on to understand whether environment and sustainability were parallel activity or not. Is sustainability considered as a phenomena or an indicator of my threshold activity? To identify the indicators related to human population in present and previous era in Asian country which define the sustainability between human population and environment, and also how to measure sustainability in terms of adaptability. Structure of my presentation is like first I'm going to give an introduction and I tell you about why I selected India as a country of Asia for this study, and also throw a light on a chronological development of past era in terms of human population and their respective environments, and tell you about the Indus Valley civilization and Aryan invasion changed how the dynamics of human population with environment, impact over climate from industrial revolution to present era, and conclusion will give you the preparation of matrix between human population and environments. In the introduction part, this is a map of an Asia which shows you different countries over it. And in next slide, I will tell you about an Asia as the largest and most populous continent in the world with just over 3.8 billion people. Asia is composed of a wide variety of ethnic groups, cultures, environments, economics, historical ties, and governmental systems. Geographically, the continent makes up 8.7% of the Earth's total surface area and 29.5% of its land area. Two-thirds of its area is exposed to water bodies in terms of oceans and bays. Major environmental problems of Asia are like urban access, deforestation, overfishing, global warming, air pollution, and limited safe water supplies. Now, coming to the next slide, selection for the study. There are 52 countries in Asia, out of which we had selected in India for understanding the respective environmental ethics from past to present era because it is the second largest country facing the environmental issues. India is exposed to water bodies from almost three sides and giving opportunity for migration, trade and commerce, etc., and also impact of changing environment due to its undulating topography. India from past to present period experienced a lot many transition in terms of physical, social, economical, cultural, religion and environmental. Many of the human civilization are flourished in the sale of time in this country. Here we should discuss how the people from Paleolithic era to present modern era flourished in country. Coming to the next slide, this is a map this is a map of India which shows the chronological development of past era in terms of human population and their respective environments. The three eras which we're going to discuss are Paleolithic era, Mesolithic era, and the Neolithic era. The earliest Indian history dates back to stone ages of 4 lakh to 2 lakh BC. The earliest settlers in India can be classified into two classes, namely Paleolithic man and Neolithic man. Paleolithic man lived on flesh of animals, wild fruits, and vegetables, which are easily available in environment, and all these things they get without disturbing the environment. Remains of implements used by the Paleolithic man were discovered in Rajasthan, Gujarat, Bihar, and some part of the southern India. Remains of Neolithic man belonging to the New Stone Age are found all over India. The Neolithic civilization was well advanced over the Paleolithic man. Here in this slide, we actually distinguish between what is before and what is after. Like we are discussing the Paleolithic era and the Neolithic era both in the same contents. Dependency on natural resources. Like before in Paleolithic era, they moved with their food supply. After in Neolithic era, they water and good soil for crops etc. were used. A government, if we talk about the government, there is not such any governance part in the prior in the Paleolithic era, but afterwards in Neolithic era there is a chief with a council. The economy also says that in Paleolithic era there is no real economy, but afterwards there is a barter system. And if we come to the part of the technology, they have used stone tools in Paleolithic era, but afterwards they have used farming, baking, and firing pottery, specialized tools, bronze tools, and weapons. Now, coming to the Indus Valley civilization. We are talking about the civilization, and if we don't talk about the Indus Valley civilization, it will be, I think, not justifiable. So there are two Indus cities like Mohenjo-daro and Harappa, extensively investigated by the archaeologists. Indus River maintained the communication and a uniform administration and economy. Well planned cities with straight streets intersecting at right angles, sophisticated drainage system with underground channels, and two-story houses constructed of stone baked bricks shows that how the technology has been developed in that era. The decline of the Indus civilization and environmental degradation. Excavations at Mohenjo-daro show that the decline set in after 1900 BC when earthquakes and floods altered the course of the Indus and the climate change. Harappas, Harappans had deforested the Indus Valley to clear land for farming and for firewood, leading to erosion and a gradual climate change. Over half a million, much of the region became a desert and agriculture is impossible there today. This meant Harappans faced a substance crisis from about 1900. By about 1700, Harappa and Mohenjo-daro had been abandoned. By 1500, all Indus cities had been abandoned. Then comments of a new era. Here we will discuss upon the three aspects, that is change in social context, cultural context, and more advancement in technology. How these three has been affected or impacted over the environment. Here in this map, Indo-European migration map, it shows that after the decline of the Harappan and Mohenjo-daro, the Aryans invaded in India, and the technology is advanced. Technology has been changed from that era to this era with more speed or with more acceleration. Impact over environment in India during the Industrial Revolution. In Asian country, India also become one of the major source of textile industries and also place of minings and extraction of ores. This industrial revolution was also accelerated due to East India Company who was ruling over India in 18th century. They were also responsible for the laying of railway tracks for trade and commerce, and engines were using a coals as a fuel to run. The industrial age witnessed the conversion of thermal energy to mechanical energy and thus enhanced the possibility of greater exploitation of natural resources. In the modern age, ever growing demand for energy coupled with the steady depletion of sources of energy forced men to consider priorities, and we see the beginning of the movement for conservation. This is one map which is this is a satellite picture taken in 2004, shows thick haze and smoke along the Ganges basin in northern India. This is a map which is showing the environmental pollution in India for present context. There are many environmental issues in India: air pollution, water pollution, garbage, and pollution of the natural environment are all challenges for India. The situation was worse between 1947 through 1995. According to data collection and environmental assessment studies of World Bank experts between 1995 to 2010, India has made one of the fastest progress in the world in addressing its environmental issues and improving its environmental quality. Pollution remains a major challenge and opportunity for India. It is also suggested that India's growing population is the primary cause of India's environmental degradation. India is recognized as having major issues with water pollution, predominantly due to untreated sewerage. Rivers such as Ganges, the Yamuna, and the Methi rivers, all flowing through highly populated areas, are all heavily polluted. Water supply and sanitation continue to be inadequate deposit despite long-standing efforts by the various levels of government and communities at improving coverage. Air pollution. India was the third largest emitter of total carbon dioxide in 2009 at 1.65 gt per year, after China 6.9 gt per year and the United States 5.2 gt per year. With 17% of world population, India contributed some 5% of human sourced carbon dioxide emission compared to China's 24% share. Solid waste pollution. Indian cities alone generate more than 100 million tons of solid waste a year. Street corners are piled with the trash, public places and sidewalks are despoiled with filth and litter. Rivers and canals act as a garbage dumps. In part, India's garbage crisis is from rising consumption. In 2000, India Supreme Court directed all Indian cities to implement a comprehensive waste management program that would include household collection of segregate waste, recycling, and composting. Some of the few solid waste landfill India has near its major cities are overflowing and poorly managed. They have become significant sources of ga- greenhouse emissions and breeding sites for disease vector such as flies, mosquitoes, cockroaches, rats, and other pests. In 2011, several Indian cities embarked on waste to energy projects. In March 2009, the issue of uranium poisoning in Punjab came into light, caused by the fly ash ponds of thermal power stations, which reportedly led to severe birth defects in children in the Faridkot and Bhatinda districts of Punjab. Mission pollution free and approach of India. Since about late 1980s, the Supreme Court of India has been proactively engaged in India's environmental issue. In most countries, it is executive and the legislative branches of the government that plan, implement, and address environmental issues. The Indian experience is different. The Supreme Court of India has been engaged in interpreting and introducing new changes in the environmental jurisdiction. The Supreme Court of India, in its order, includes executive actions and technical details of environmental action to be implemented. Indeed, some critics of India's Supreme Court describe the court as the Lords of Green Bench or a garbage supervisor. Prior, India deployed a bureaucratic method to estimate forest coverage. In the 1980s, the space satellites were deployed for remote sensing of the real forest cover. In 2003, India set up a National Forest Commission to review and assess India policy and law, its effect on India's forest, its impact of local forest communities, and to make recommendations to achieve sustainable forest ecological security in India. India has significant biodiversity. It is home to 7.6% of all mammalian, 12.6% of avian, and 6.2% of reptilian, and 6.0% of flowering plant species. In 1972, India enacted the Wildlife Protection Act and Project Tiger to safeguard crucial habitat. Further federal protections were promulgated in 1980s. Along with over 500 wildlife sanctuaries, India now hosted 14 biosphere reserves, 4 of which are part of the World Network of Biosphere Reserves. 25 wetlands are registered under the Ramsar Convention. Now, coming to the conclusion, basically from all this study part, I came to know that human is chasing need in the race of development, greed to achieve it faster. Result is degrading the environment. Now, looking at the matrix between the environment and human in various timeline, that is in early Paleolithic to Mesolithic era, the indicator for sustainability is basic needs like food, clothes, and shelter. So measurement of sustainability is in terms of need. The environment and human metrics, we can say that environment is more dominated over the human. In Neolithics to Aryan era, basic needs along with a social and political interaction becomes the indicators for the sustainability, which gave rise to the measurement as a need and development. The again the matrix is the degradation of the environment started and human activities were started dominating over environment. Industrial revolution to present era, basic needs, social and political interactions, and also economic progress is added to the indicator. Because of this, the measurement of sustainability again changes from need development to greed. Now, this era is acts as a threshold era for environmental pollution from where humans started concerning the environmental issues. Here there is a cusp of both degradation of environment and upgradation of human activities to protect environment.